The Emergency Measures Act is a declaration of a state of national urgency. It is a blunt force tool that should only be used under the most serious circumstances when legal powers have been exhausted. The Canadians do not believe that this Prime Minister has exhausted all efforts. The Emergency Measures Act gives extraordinary powers to the government. The Prime Minister would have received judicial advice from judicial officers. When will this Prime Minister make that advice available to the public?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Once again, the Conservative Party is trying to have it both ways. They spent the first few weeks both complaining that the federal government wasn't acting while encouraging the illegal barricades, and now that the federal government has put in the hands of local police officers justified, proportional, measured tools that will absolutely conform with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, they are now complaining that we have acted. We will continue to do what is necessary to keep Canadians and their communities and our economy safe.
The member for Haldimand Norfolk.
Canadians are tired of talking points. They want real answers. The Prime Minister's own words created fear. What are we going to do with these people? These people are taking up space, he said. These are the words of a failed leader who robbed Canadians of hope and of unity, and that is why they took to the streets. When will this Prime Minister stop doubling down on his failed leadership and admit that it is his divisive words and mandates that led to so much turmoil in this country?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, unlike what the member opposite believes, the vaccine mandates we came forward with in this country saved lives. The vaccine mandates for travelers, for federal public servants, contributed to one of the highest vaccination rates in the world by Canadians. That has kept people safer. It has allowed our economy to come roaring back and has allowed us to get through this challenging pandemic better than most. Unfortunately, Conservatives are now supporting illegal blockades that are harming our economy. That's not what...
Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
Earlier in question period, the Prime Minister said that the Emergencies Act should not be the, quote, first or second thing that should be used to resolve a crisis situation. What were the first and second things that the Prime Minister did? And how does the failure of those actions provide legal justification for the invocation of the Emergencies Act?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when we began to see illegal blockades in place, we made sure that the RCMP was there to offer resources to local police of jurisdiction, to work with the OPP to ensure that the support and planning was there for the police of local jurisdiction to take action. As time went on and these illegal blockades became more and more dug in, we saw that there was a need for more and more tools until it got to the point where Canadians' livelihoods, Canadians' well-being, the residents of Ottawa being severely impacted, threats of violence at border crossings across the country.
The honourable member for Calgary Nose Hill.
The problem with that argument is that the illegal blockades at the Ambassador Bridge and the Coots crossings occurred prior to the Emergencies Act being involved, without federal help. And the Emergency Act was not needed to settle the rail blockades of 2020, the Oka crisis, the crisis at Caledonia, September 11th, the COVID-19 pandemic, or any other dispute in Canadian history. The Prime Minister has not provided any legal justification for the use of the Emergencies Act, a historic unfettered power grab. He needs to calmly tell Canadians why he has failed and what is different today.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the invocation of the Emergencies Act is not something to be done lightly. On that, we absolutely agree. That is why not only did we lay out the rationale and explain to Canadians why we're doing it and how we're doing it, not only why we made sure that the new powers are circumspect, are proportional, are to be used only where they are needed, but we also are about to have days of debate in the House on exactly these questions so that parliamentarians and indeed all Canadians are able to see that this was necessary.
Le député de Belleuil-Chambly.